Hello and welcome to A Build a Day episode 9. This ninth episode. I released episode 8 quite late last night, and the support on it, despite the fact that I absolutely screwed up the audio, which I'm very sorry about, by the way. I was very tired. Was amazing. I don't really know how to describe what's been going on with the channel right now, other than just I don't get it. I cannot seem to compute why people want to watch these videos. But anyway, today we're actually building one of my favorite things to build in Minecraft, and it's sort of originated about a year and maybe a half ago, sort of during Hermitcraft Season 8. B-Dubs, Corrales and Tango sort of decided that they were gonna sort of live together or in the same sort of area, and B-Dubs built a Italian Riviera style town, and I was on a server with some of my friends, and I thought, okay, I quite like this, I'll build it, you know. So I built my own sort of take on the Italian Riviera style, and that remains the best, or one of the best builds that I have ever done. It was very good, and I unfortunately never managed to finish it actually, but it was the best thing that I've ever built. So here we are, building in that sort of style. The reason why I haven't built any of the interiors is because I'm probably going to do an interior sort of like pseudo tutorial video, sort of explaining how I go about figuring out my interiors, and it's a lot of problem solving. So I'll do that in a few videos time. As you can see, the style it's very, very simple at the moment. It's basically 5 by any odd number rectangles, and 3 high windows, 3 high doors, sloped roofs, various different vibrant colors, yellows, oranges, reds, sandstone, blues, etc. Loads of... The way I like doing it is the more color you can put into it, generally the better it looks. So that's what I try and do. I try and put color into the builds a lot, and it really, really, really works. Putting color in a build, even if it's like a tiny like accent color, like if you have a castle, you want to build it a lot stone, but like having accents, like even like a roof trim, right? Like say you have some spires on your towers, having a trim around that of like a little bit of color, right? It can do the build wonders, especially on interiors for stuff like castles. That can be very, very good. But for builds like this, I want to emulate what it actually looks like, but sort of exaggerate it, play with it, make it my own. And that means a lot of color, because, you know, in real life, you have sort of 3 buildings in a row. They're all similar colors. We don't have at least that amount of tones of different colors, and you have to texture it because otherwise it just looks a bit boring. So then you sort of have this like row of buildings. They all look the same. So that can get quite boring if you're trying to build like a city with, you know, hundreds of buildings and they all look sort of relatively the same. So a way of doing that in Minecraft is adding loads of color, doing various different like color palettes, gradients, whatever, random textures, etc. And then shape is also very, very good. The more interesting shapes that you can add, the better. This one's is just straight, pretty much just, you know, just a road, straight road. You know, various bits sticking out and stuff, but you know, the sort of the more interest that you can add, the less detailing I find that you have to do. So if you have like a 45-degree angled building, you can do a lot less detail on that than if it's a 90. If it's 90 degrees and it is just like the building's like here, you have to do a lot of detailing on like flat edges. You'll see that at the end of the video actually. Despite the fact that the yellow building has texture, the side is so big it looks really bland. Obviously this is like just a snippet of a row of buildings. I'd have like a corner building which would add interest, then maybe a mural at the top which would also, it would add like a focal point that like your eyes get caught by and you're like, ooh, that looks nice, okay, and then you move on. But yeah, these houses are, you know, they're pretty simple. I was sort of trying to figure out what I wanted to do for these sort of coming episodes between now and the 11th, because I have an idea for the 11th. That's going to be in its specific world, going to be a specific build, and I mean, anybody that knows anything about Remembrance Day will probably be able to guess what that build is. But I need, you know, I need stuff to fill the days between and then after. So I was sort of trying to think, maybe I can like sort of do like a little mini series of like where I build a building out of a village each day. But then I was like, the style that I would probably use is very similar to the style that I've like built some stuff in. Like I would probably just build the church that we built a few episodes ago again. I just build it again. And the marketplace, I'd just build that again. And the windmill and the wizard's tower, those would be pretty similar. So I was like, yeah, okay, let's not do that. Let's do a little bit more planning. So I think that's probably going to start on the 12th. So gonna little mini series, just some village builds, quite simple. It's how I like building, little builds, and you slowly like build more and more and more, and by the time somebody has finished their mega build, you've finished an entire city with loads of detail, intricate just like interiors, everything has a purpose, you know, and you can hide farms and stuff inside these buildings as well, so they can look good and have utility. And that's something that I find I can't do in mega builds. I can make it look good, or I can make it look awful. One will have no utility and the other will have loads, and I need to combine them. But I don't really like building big structures. I don't really see the benefit quick enough for me, so I build like effectively loads of small start houses, and I just continue. But it's whatever. Yeah, now we're using World Edit to just get the texturing in, because I can't be bothered going through and texturing all the buildings. It's the AO, yeah, you can see, despite the fact that it's got texturing on it, that side of the yellow building looks still quite boring. The texturing definitely is add interest, but it still looks. I actually refined that a little bit later because I found that the yellow terracotta was a bit too. I had like a green sort of tint to it, which I didn't really want. I wanted the building to be orange, not green. So, as you can see here, I'm removing the texturing from that red line on the other orange building over there. And here we can see that I've noticed the sort of weird green, and I'm testing out some blocks. I think I turn it into red sand about sometimes now. There we go. It looked too dark, so I undid that and turned it into orange wool, which looks a lot better. It looks bright orange now. Now we're adding a bit of road, gonna add a curb, and then that should be it. Yeah, I think that's basically all I did. This build it took a while because there's multiple sort of quite large buildings, but it's really easily repeatable, really easily repeatable. And there we go. So enjoy the cinematics. I will see you tomorrow, and have a good one.